Fast forward, Inikomo El Chani so AG Politics Avenue. Podcast are set to make headlines. And only a jamre na EDB Exomo or Nidia Humbraxi Mus and ED Kaya. The best way to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so share na afi. What me elevate comment constructively under the comment section. The Nidia man Yombo Inra a high whistling, get them at Enya Sam Koto, Nina and accept. A yakin of Oriata Hons and Seven. Join news at Aroma. Nsema hodo etimi ekoso ewo courtroom hono enene uma ajebre na omodibi exumoye sanso ena ne lawyer enso etimi ababe break silence with the guys to a right Ghana for demonstration odia ekoso ewo US embassy no. At this point in time yemo enra in siminim ne njemu nchemu yi age politics avenue.
Thanks for choosing us. Now, this afternoon, the legal troubles of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, now held under a unique ICE detention number 720, are far from over as he's set to remain in a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody for at least 97 more days until an immigration court reconvenes on his case in April 2026. But we know that on Tuesday, Judge David Garday deferred a bail bond redetermination application filed by his lawyers, but granted their request that all subsequent proceedings be conducted off camera. After arguments that the case involves sensitive security matters, there's more in the following report.
After nearly 2 weeks in U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody, embattled former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has appeared before a U.S. court to plead his case. Ken Ofori-Atta left Ghana in January 2025 for medical treatment in the United States. About 2 weeks ago, ICE authorities arrested him for allegedly overstaying his visa. In his first public appearance since the arrest, Ken Ofori-Atta joined the hearing via WebEx, an online platform. He appeared in a dark detention jumpsuit over a jeans shirt, which he later removed before taking his seat. He wore medicated glasses and a blue nose mask. This was his second bail hearing after the first was dismissed. A deputy consul from the Ghana embassy in the U.S. was also present. Presiding Judge David Garday then called the case. Lawyers for Ken Ofori-Atta, led by Christopher Chasen, asked the court to make the hearing private. The judge agreed. Ken Ofori-Atta is also being pursued separately by the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the Office of the Attorney General over alleged corruption-related cases, including efforts to extradite him to Ghana. The immigration case has been adjourned to April 27, 2026 at 1 p.m. For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
Immigration lawyer Janelle Oklu explains what transpired in court on Tuesday night is just the beginning of the matter about his bail condition and has nothing to do with the extradition request filed by the government of Ghana. She spoke on PM Express with Evan Spencer.
To be clear, I know that, it was stated that today was his deportation hearing, but in fact, that's not actually so. What was happening today was a redetermination of his bond hearing, is what I got. So essentially, his lawyers had previously requested for him to be released on bond. What his lawyers are trying to do is basically to get him out of detention. He's detained. I'm sure he's very uncomfortable in his current situation, and they just want to get him out. They want him to be able to, return home for the rest of this process instead of essentially being, in detention, as you see him there in his uniform in the jumpsuit. So the lawyers had previously requested it. It was denied. And so today was a redetermination. So his lawyers are requesting once again for the judge to allow him to be released on bond. So that was what today's hearing was. The other thing is the next step would have been, if we could have been, able to hear, but unfortunately, it's in camera, we couldn't see any further. The next step would have been the master calendar calendar hearing. The master calendar hearing is the hearing where basically the charges against him are brought. And I'm talking about immigration charges. The immigration charges against him are brought. We are not getting into criminal issue or the extradition.
Now, with the case now set to potentially travel a long haul, international law lecturer at the University of Ghana Law School, Professor P.J. Tia says the only way this matter can be truncated is if Ken takes a personal decision to come back home.
Yes, he could, based on the fact that the revocation of his visa and the case that has been brought before him, which led to his appearing before the immigration court, yes, it's not based on his having committed a crime in the U.S. It is only when he has committed a crime that the U.S. court will try him, and if he is found guilty, will serve his time. And after serving the time, then he will be deported from the country. Okay. This is a purely immigration matter. And number two, the extradition aspect is also there. And as we know, extradition can take a very long time to deal with, and it's going to take the resources of the Department of Justice of the United States and so on. And so if on his own he decides to return to Ghana, he has the right to do so. Yes, he has the right to freedom of movement, and the freedom of movement means that he can leave any country at any time. There's only a restriction on entering another country, which calls for a visa. So if he is exiting the country, he has the right to do that. Any day, anytime.
Okay, so in effect, he can decide to come to Ghana, and that's the end of the case.
That will end the case, both the extradition case and then the immigration case against him.
Well, joining us now on the telephone line is a member of Ken Ofori-Atta's legal team, Frank Davis. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. Now, you have had 2 court dates ahead of you, based on what we are told yesterday. Your first appearance is on the February 19, if my memory serves me right, and then second on April 27. Now, what do we expect to happen on each of these days when you go to court?
Good afternoon. Yes,
Good afternoon.
To your cherished listeners and esteemed viewers. I just heard your immigration lawyer made some comments, but I want to straighten matters, because I heard her say that this is the second time a bond application has been posted for Kennedy. Well, I don't know where she's taking her facts from. So far as I am concerned, and a member of the team of lawyers in Ghana, in collaboration with the American company. This is the first. Yesterday was the first time that bill was posted, or the first application here, consequent upon the notice to appear the NTA hearing last night. So I don't know where to take that information from. Ken, through his lawyers, have not posted any bill application or bond hearing ever. It was only last night, and I want to put that firmly on record. Now, last night, up to the point that the link was disabled, we also the proceedings thus far. And yesterday, after whatever has been done, and the judge has postponed or adjourned the matter to the 27th of April for the NTA, continuation of the NTA hearing. For the notice to appear, as I've repeatedly said to the media outlet, is when I picked up anyone like him who was done, you have to appear in court to give reasons why you should not be returned back to your home country, or for that matter deported, or why you should continue to remain in the jurisdiction. So that was what happened, and the presiding judge had to adjust the matter to the 27th of April. Now, when that was done, when the lawyer, Christopher, was the lead counsel, brought up the bond application matter. The bond application of the bond hearing is akin to a bail application in Ghana. Now, when the matter was raised, the lawyers representing the state raised an objection that was an extradition request for Ken Ofori-Atta. When they raised that objection, the judge asked for them to satisfy the court with any proof the extradition process was requested. At that point, so far as my instructions go from our counterpart lawyers, at that point, the state authorities could not produce any ample proof of any extradition request. So the judge was compelled to adjourn the proceedings for a period of 30 days for them to reappear on the 19th of February to contest the bond application hearing. So those are the two court dates. 19th of February is for the constitution of the argument or submissions for the bail, and 27th of April is for the constitution of notice to appear proceedings.
Mr. Frank Davis, I'll have to come in at this point in time. I wish you could speak a bit louder for us. We're struggling to hear you. But then on the 19th of February, does it mean Ken will still have to appear before the court, or this is just legal documentation that the U.S. authorities will have to provide to the court without the presence of Ken Ofori-Atta?
To appear in court nonetheless. He has to appear in court. So he will be in court with his lawyers.
So will his bail condition or application for bail be determined on that 19th of February, or will that be determined on the 27th of April?
The bond or bail application will be determined on the 19th of February. The 27th of April is for the continuation of the NTA, which has to do with the adjustment of his immigration status. So the 19th of February is solely for the bond application.
I see. And based on the briefing you've received, how is it faring after yesterday's hearing?
Well, Faustina, I tell you always that the good Lord Almighty God keeps you 10 and my good self alive every other day. He's doing extremely well. He's fine.
I see. And so legally, are there other impediments in your way based on the briefing you received from your other legal counterparts in the U.S.?
Oh, not any strict impediments that I'm aware of. But let me say on the threshold that the bond application is contingent on 3 factors. First, whether after the release or removal from the detention facility, if Ken is released on bail, whether it will be a flight risk or whether he will pose a danger to the community in which he is presently residing. And the last but not least is whether he is able, ready, and willing to post the bond. You know, in America, you will have to post the bond, and I think you understand what posting the bond means. So those are the 3.
And then looking at...
You should be able to satisfy the court that he will be able to pay the amount that will be imposed, yeah.
I see. Yesterday, he opted for an in-camera hearing. Is there a specific reason why he chose that?
Well, the counterpart lawyers had indicated that there were some matters of a very sensitive nature which they didn't want to be put in the public domain. And the judge granted that request. It is on the veil. It is on the veil. These hearings are either private or a closed hearing, as it is called usually, or is a public hearing. So yesterday was a closed.
And if you don't mind me asking, what are some of these matters? Is it because of the concerns about his extradition request?
Continue. These are clients, people. Respectfully, I'm gagged.
But I'm sure you've been monitoring the local scene as well. And you know that around Ghana, they're still on the streets. Today, they went back to the U.S. Embassy. They're chanting, bring back Ken Ofori-Atta. Is that of concern to you?
I said yesterday that freedom of expression and freedom of speech, freedom of association is fundamental. I cannot begrudge what you're doing. But if the proceedings of yesterday or last night for that matter is anything to go by, I'll err a right gun temporarily for what you're doing, because this will not change anything in America. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's a plain truth. Holding of placards, running up and down the streets of cantonment on the prisons of the American embassy, and chanting and singing war songs and saying all kinds of things about Ken. Some very insidious comments. I mean, very, very invidious remarks and all that. Will not change anything. The law works in America as it should work in Ghana. I think we should all wait for that to be determined. As sitting at the American embassy, I don't know what it is meant to achieve. I honestly don't know what it is to achieve. And I think we should cut a nice international picture about ourselves. If we say that we live in the rule of law, why are they not patient enough for the process in America to be determined? And we will want to think that the American government will just decide to curtail whatever is going on, put aside the extradition request, and then put Kenneth Ofori-Atta in a plane and bring him to Ghana. I mean, with great respect, I'm also a Ghanaian. We are all Ghanaians. It is not just about the party.
Frank, stay with me. Let me just let you watch what happened today at the U.S. Embassy. And I'm told that, in fact, members of Arise Ghana are still stationed at the front of the U.S. Embassy as we speak. Stay with me. Watch this.
Just in front of the embassy, they've crossed the road, which is the U.S. embassy's, the U.S. government's jurisdiction. I believe my camera guy will show you the visuals. But I have Honorable Hossein Addo, lead member of United Party, and also I have Solomon Owusu, also here, Director of Communication for United Party, that I'll be engaging. Mr. Hobson, yesterday you were here, today you've come here again.
Yes, we need to give our support to Arise Ghana to make sure Ken is back home so that we start the processes.
But we know yesterday the court proceedings happened, and we know that the judge decided to adjourn the case to April 27th, and also asked that on February 19th, the government provide the extradition request that government of Ghana has asked. Is it not something that you should give you some level of satisfaction, knowing very well that the extradition process is already ongoing?
Yeah, we know it's ongoing, but you know, Americans, these are the language that they understand. Are you getting it? Demonstrations like this, they understand it. People can lie that, maybe Ken is being persecuted or something of that sort. But when they see a demonstration like this, they know that, hey, then there is a call from the citizens. So they speed up the process for us. That's why we are here. We are going 14 days, minus the weekends. So after 14 days, if you are not getting what we want, we'll continue to do it. And we know, at the court yesterday, before they truncated the proceedings, we heard that the state attorney put before the judge that there is a petition from Ghana to extradite Ken Ofori-Atta, and the judge said it's not before him. So that alone is good. You know, when we started here yesterday, it was 3 a.m. in the USA. So before they got to the court, they've seen whatever happened here. They got the pictures, the videos, and all that. So we'll continue to pursue until we achieve what we want.
I'm grateful to you. So that's Hobson Addo, a member of the United Party. He is a former member of the New Patriotic Party. You know, he was in the same party with Ken Ofori-Atta, the former finance minister. Let me speak to you. You should be at work, I am sure, by now, but you've decided to be here.
You don't. My name is Hefia Kranchwa. I'm Hobson's deputy, field operations of UP, United Party. In fact, this call is a call for all Ghanaians. And I'm so surprised that I'm not seeing NPP people here. Because
we ain't some who do because of channel so. I'm not so Jim or had a sense of body, you know. Edia Dumbia Dominion, near Bessan Bowram. Na, just sign a small question to cry.